Hello, love. Welcome home to Eden, goddess. Goddess lovers, you gorgeous beings. Well, this is Eve Christoph. Welcome home to Eden. I'm here for you. I'm concocting, making love remedies and rituals and recipes for gaining lightness, heart, body, and soul. Okay? So that means we have a delicious topic for every show, and we have a remedy for your heart, a recipe for your body, and a ritual for your soul, knowing that we are full beings and we really have to approach ourselves as multidimensional to really have a change occur in any dimension of our lives. So today's recipe, ritual, and remedy is all about melting the fear of intimacy. This is a great one, isn't it? Because we have all this like, oh, I want love, I really do. And we spend all this time like on dating sites, whatever, and as soon as the person comes our way, I don't know about you, but like I am an expert at honing in on just the thing that will chase them away. Like, like one guy tell him, well, he'd really have to buy me a car if he wants to get to know me. I totally knew this was insane. Like another guy who was like really pure, like somebody I liked so much. I was so afraid because he finally was coming towards me. I told him, well, you would just have to marry me and two other women and watch them do me. It's not really a fantasy of mine at all. But I mean, I come up with these doozies. Like one guy, I knew he was really like afraid of going too fast, and so I went over and I to his workplace and I pulled him outside and I drew with chalk on the ground and I said, this is the line between flirting and juicy love. I dare you to cross over. You never talk to me again. Like I can just suss out exactly what will chase them away, and I do it like I have gravity towards it. Now, do you do this? I mean, I have hundreds of these stories. It's really, it's a pathology for me. Okay, I'm working on it now. We're going to work on this together, okay? So the thing is, the very first thing we have to look at is we're afraid of intimacy. Okay, facing that. Why? Well, we have good reason, right? As women, we have had so much crap go along with relationship that we really are afraid of our lives being taken over. I mean, there's even a book out now called All the Single Ladies or something. It's all about all the women who just will not commit anymore. So Italy's got this problem where the whole population is getting older because the women just don't want to have babies with those macho guys who want them to be their mother. They just can't take it. They have to face being a mother of children and the guy also, and they just don't want to do it. So now Italy doesn't have enough young people. Okay, it's a problem. It's a world problem. So, but the fear of intimacy is real for real reasons. So the very first remedy is for your heart, okay? Now this is a funny remedy. This is like you're going to be like, that's like the opposite of what you think. Okay, yes. Your first remedy, darling, is to embrace the validity of polyamory. Now, okay, don't freak out. Don't leave just yet. Listen, I'm not a polyamorous person at heart at all. Like, that's a really unfulfilling thought to me, to have like nobody I'm really in love with and everybody just using each other for entertainment. Oh my God. All the polyamorous people I know, actually, they're divorced, they swapped, they lost their houses, they got cancer, the women got breast cancer or paralyzed their faces. I mean, seriously, women's emotional reality with that is rough. But in the process of getting to know people, you need to give yourself permission to get to know a number of men before you commit, and before they're going to ask you to be monogamous to them before they're even present. They're going to leave you on the shelf for weeks on end and think that you should just wait for them and be all devoted. The answer is no. The answer is, this is your life, your one and only life. And if they get to the place of really being present with you, connected with you, that's different. Now we're entering real love, real intimacy. And of course, I would say, of course, you want commitment and monogamy, because that's how you build into sacred love. and focus, right? Uh, but in the meantime, you need to explore even. Like probably you went into a relationship too young without even knowing your preferences, without getting to find them out. And if you started to go in the direction of exploration, people called you a slut. So we're also going to embrace slut. Okay, The Ethical Slut is a really good book. How to do the polyamory slut thing honestly and openly until you find the one, right? I think it's really valid until you find somebody that you really feel that there is that deep enough river to go down together, just the two of you. So that was the first remedy for your heart. Okay. Yeah, okay. But now we're going to keep going. So now we're going to the recipe. The recipe's for your body. Now, your body's in trauma. Your body's in fear. Your body has the memory of all of these things that happened that you never want to have happen again. But you know you're missing out on love. So this is push-pull and this paralysis, and that's why nothing ever happens, really. Okay, so we got to break through that. So the very first thing is to create your love recipe. Okay, darling? Love recipe. Now, the love recipe, though, is the way to the love recipe is to realize the love poison. Okay, so the love poison that you have lived, you need to look at it closely, and this will help you to actually relax. Okay, so you're going to write down, pen and paper again, everything that you're afraid of. I'm afraid of being put on the shelf, right? I'm afraid of being expected to be the slave of the house and doing all the work. I'm afraid of being treated like a friend and not a lover and put on the shelf. I'm afraid of being controlled and told what to do. I'm afraid of having my money taken from me. I'm afraid of being in constant power struggle. I'm afraid of worse things like abuse and hurt and being trapped and by addicts and not believed and diminished and having my self-esteem plummeted and being undermined and this is a really bad list. Okay, this is my list. Okay, squalor, messy crap all around, some kind of a, hoarder or, dump addict who loves junk. I'm afraid of my time being taken over with their inertia and their beer drinking and their constant talking about their little minutia, about their tools and gadgets. I can't even get around wanting any of it. Okay, so that's all really negative story. Wow. Oh God. So, but that's a lot of what I've lived. Like, yeah, all of it actually. So what you do, now you got your negative poison, anti-love, the poison spa. Okay. And what you're going to do is take every single one of those fears and you're going to reverse it. So being put on the shelf and abandoned would be presence, right? Reciprocal responsibility in chores, fantastic romantic chemistry. That's the opposite of being treated like a friend, not a lover. So you just take each thing, being controlled and told what to do, freedom, equality, having money taken from us, support, being provided for, or at least in interdependence together. Being constant power struggle? No. Unconditional love, fluidity, going with the flow with each other. The squalor thing? No. Beautiful, sacred home space. Having everything, my life taken over. How about we live separate? How about, or at least I have a separate studio, so you've written your recipe for love as the opposite of everything you fear. Okay. You got that now. Awesome. Now, the only thing is, darling, we've probably done this 100 times and nothing's changed, right? That's because now you need a ritual of embodiment, okay? A ritual for your soul that shifts your psychology and your spiritual expectation into a whole nother realm, okay? Here we go for the ritual. It's springtime. There's nature out there. You're going to find a river that you can swim in, okay? That you can actually swim across. It would, or a lake could work if it's a small lake. Now, you're going to go to the river. You're going to look at the river and look at it symbolically as the river of love, of everything that you have not crossed over to really experience high love that's worthy of your trust and surrender, okay? And commitment. So you're standing on the banks of the river, right? Now, everything that's on the other side of that river is the way the world will look, the way you will feel, the way you will be treated when you have surrendered into trusting love and opening to intimacy. This is a realm you will never even know what it's like until you swim across that river and make that leap, take that risk, right? To swim to the other side of love. All right, now I did this ritual with a gentleman whose wife, now wife, the woman in his life had proposed to him, and he had been an eternal bachelor, without, just kind of floating, without much, powerful energy in the community, always wanting to sort of be very light. And she proposes to him and he's freaked, right? And he says to me, I don't know what to do. I really love her, but God, what is this marriage thing about? I don't understand. Why do women want this? All my freedom, all his fears of intimacy, all of our fears, the same ones I just mentioned, all coming up, right? And so I said to him, look, women, the feminine, who a woman becomes when a man really commits to her and really says yes and really goes for the sacred marriage thing. He will never know that woman, what she's like and what her rhythms are like and what her joy is like, and until he's said yes or until he's asked her. He'll never even know. He'll always know the slightly afraid, slightly unhappy, slightly annoyed, slightly distracted woman who's actually looking for somebody else who she can make a life and a family with, right? He won't know the fully present woman until he gets fully present on that page and says yes. I explained this to him and I said, look, let's go to the river. So we went to the river and to a place where two rivers join. This is an incredible place. It's called Sunburn Beach in Shelburne Falls. Now, I call it Two Rivers. So when we got there, there's these huge black hot rocks on the other side of the river from where we were standing. And right downstream is where the two rivers join. I said to him, when you're ready, I want you to take a symbolic journey. You're going to swim across this water, okay? When you're going to get to the other side of those hot rocks, I want you to feel them and feel what it feels like on the other side of commitment and love. Just go there and look at her and look at the world and see what it looks like. Now, if you like what it looks like, if you feel great about how it feels, get back in the river and flow down with the current until you get to where the second river joins. Now, what's amazing is I saw him do this. He went into the river. I saw him get really comfortable over in the sun. His whole body was relaxing. I didn't know what was going on in him. But then I saw him get into the river and flow downstream. And there's this amazing thing there where the second river is actually almost a hot river. And the first one that he was in is a cold river. So when you get to where the second river joins, all this hot, warm water swirls around you. I knew this would happen. And sure enough, it did. And when he came out of that ritual, he said yes to her. And his life, the life he entered is so amazing since then because he's got support from her. They have a financial stability. They have a house together now. They have stature in the community as a couple where people want to be in their presence when they host. He's now doing his creative work because instead of constantly floating ungrounded, he's really deeply in his own, embodying, making it happen, what he's always wanted to do creatively. And he's learning how to still have his sexy dancer self that can have lots of other women friends too in a healthy way.